Hello everybody, my name's Nicola and welcome back to my channel. This is the Frugal Cottage where we talk all things money to help you on your financial journey. Today's video is all about sinking funds and which ones you need to have in your budget to help you to prepare for all of those different expenses that might crop up throughout the year. Don't forget to like and subscribe and let's get started. So sinking funds. I've already done a video about sinking funds and about what they are, so I'll leave a link below to that. But essentially a sinking fund is a savings pot that you set up that you know you're going to use at some point. And the more prepared you can be for that, the better. Now this is not the same as an emergency fund. An emergency fund should be a separate savings pot of around 3 to 6 months of your bare bones budget expenses, if you like. Obviously for lots of people, and this includes myself, the emergency fund is an ongoing process of saving that because that will take quite a while. However, sinking funds are there to help you to pay for those kind of one-off expenses maybe that come up throughout the year that you know you're going to have to pay money for. And the 6 I'm going to talk through with you today should help you to prepare for anything that might crop up as you go throughout the year. So the first one is car. If you have a car that you use to drive to work, take the kids to school, whatever you use it for, you should have a sinking fund set up for this. Cars are notoriously expensive and when they go wrong they can really go wrong. So it's helpful to have a car sinking fund set up so that this can cover things like your MOT and service that happens once a year, your car insurance, and then just like general wear and tear on your vehicle. Plus if you then need to replace, say, the tyres on your car, you have that kind of money set, or maybe not all of it but something there that can help towards that. So for example, the car MOT and service happens once a year. You generally know when that is, you have to have it done by a certain date, and the cost of that, providing there's nothing else wrong with your car, is a fairly standard figure. If obviously they find lots of things wrong with your car, then the number goes up, but the essential MOT and service itself is kind of a fixed fee. Insurance happens once a year as well. It may or may not be the same time as your MOT, but car insurance is slightly more tricky because that goes up or down depending on the year or how many people you've got on your car, if you're adding anyone else. You've also got car tax. Now we tend to pay for years at a time and that happens, that just goes out by the bank, but you could even set aside money to pay your car tax as well. And then like I said, the general wear and tear on your vehicle. So having a car sinking fund is definitely a good one to have if you own a car. The second one is Christmas. So we all know when Christmas arrives, it's the 25th of December every year. It's not a surprise if you celebrate Christmas. And yet most people, and again myself included, I'm trying to get better at this, end up scrabbling around in December trying to buy all these presents for people. It's always a really expensive month, and by the end of it, especially because if you get paid early in December and then January's payday feels like a million miles away, Christmas can be really expensive. So Christmas is one of the easiest ones to set up because you know when it is, you know the date, you know when you're going to need the money by, and if say you wanted to save £500 to spend at Christmas, so that's on presents, maybe food, whatever you spend it on. If you save £45 each month from January to November, you'll have that pot of money sat waiting for you to spend at Christmas time. It's been organised and planned in advance so that you're not relying on a credit card or just your normal bank account, current account, when the time comes. Number 3 is birthdays. Now this is going to be kind of a rolling sinking fund because obviously people have birthdays at different times. So you might want to aim to have a certain amount in your birthday sinking fund at any one time, and once you've spent that on somebody's birthday, then work on replacing that. Or you might want to add, I don't know, £30 a month in, for example, and then when you've got a month when you've got 3 people's birthdays in the same month, then you've got that money there. But birthdays are quite personal. It depends how much you spend on people's birthdays, and obviously that also depends on who the person is. We spend much more on our family and close friends than we do on, say, acquaintances and things like that. So the kind of money that you need in the birthdays envelope is quite variable, and it's also quite personal depending on your own family circumstances. So again, birthdays are not a surprise. You know when they're coming up, you know when people's important day is. So that is again working out. So say you've got 3 people's birthday in September, so you know in September you'll need to take out a bigger amount in that month to cover the birthdays. Then say June, July and August, maybe add a bit more into the birthday sinking fund just for that short period of time, and then kind of roll it back again once September's been. Birthdays are such a lovely occasion, and it's lovely to give things and buy things for people, but again they can be really expensive, so having a birthday sinking fund is really important to ensure that your budget doesn't take a massive hit. Number 4 is holidays. So this can be just holidays like spent at home. This could be when you're going on holiday somewhere else to pay for your flights, accommodation, or it can be just the spending money you need when you're there. It's probably best to have a combination of all 3, and perhaps this sinking fund is going to be the one that's the biggest for you and your family. Holidays can be really expensive. They can also be wonderful. They create memories. You're having experience of different things. They're a wonderful thing to be able to do. You need to kind of project how much you would want to A, spend booking it in the first place, and then B, how much you would be wanting to take to spend on your holiday. And again, this depends on your family circumstances. A couple with no children will spend potentially less than a family of 4, but you need to know a general idea of the money that you want to save up and then split it up again into the months. So say you're going to book a holiday for September next year, so you've got 13 months to save for, then you know how much in terms of time you have to save for that, and then you can divide the amount by the amount of months you can save for, and that will give you the number you need to save for your holiday. It's also a good idea to maybe in this same envelope have money there for like day trips out. So on like a weekend maybe you want to go somewhere, or you have a couple of days together so you want to go and stay somewhere overnight. This holiday sinking fund pot could be quite large, but it's there. So again, you're not relying on your credit card or your current account, which may look quite empty at times. Number 5 is a children's and or pets sinking fund. So we all know how expensive children can be, and we all know how expensive pets can be. I was talking to someone yesterday about sinking funds, and I said we recently, if you follow me on social media, we had one of our cats, we've got 2 cats, needed an operation. She needed some teeth taken out, and that cost us £485 to have that operation. She needed some blood work and stuff done as well, and she was there for the entire day, and we knew, because we'd had that money set aside, we knew we weren't going to have to struggle to find it, and we could just let them go ahead as soon as possible. Children and pets are expensive, and putting money aside for those, I mean, that operation might seem extreme, but the costs, the unexpected costs that might crop up for children and or pets can be quite large. So things for children, so if you've got children of school age, you'll know that you'll need to buy their school uniform in August, so they're starting school the next school year in September. Maybe they do different clubs that you need to pay for. For pets, they might need booster vaccinations, things like that. Might need teeth cleaning depending on what animal it is. Lots of different kind of additional things that you might need to spend on. So children and or pets, obviously if you're not getting pets, it's not going to be and pets, and if you've not got any children, but that might cover all bases for that. Again, because they're part of your family and they are expensive at times, it's handy to have a sinking fund for that. And that's a bit of a tricky one to work out how much to aim for, but I think what we do is we just put a set amount in there each month, and then if we use it, then it gets taken out, and if we don't, it just kind of rolls on. And I think if it gets to a certain point and we've not used it, then we'll stop adding to it for the short term until it's used, and then start it up again. Obviously you don't want to get all these sinking funds to be too high if they're not being used, because your money could be better used elsewhere. Number 6 I put as medical. Now in the UK we're very fortunate to have the NHS, so if you go to hospital it does not cost you anything, and if you go to the doctors, the visit itself doesn't cost anything. However, even if you go to NHS, if you need any kind of prescription, there's a cost for that, and if you need multiple prescriptions, you pay for each individual one. Under this umbrella as well is the dentist. So If you've got an NHS dentist, again, their fees are kind of calculated. They don't generally add on lots more. However, if you go and you suddenly need a tooth taken out or something fixed at the dentist, that fee can suddenly become quite a lot more than the £21 it is to have your teeth checked. To have that medical sinking fund just gives a bit of leeway, like I said, in case you have... It's generally the dentist one, because we don't pay for hospital or doctor's services in the UK. And if you're on prescription, if you know that's going to be a long-term thing, then you can put money aside for that. But dentist things are often, unless you kind of know, you can sense that something's going wrong, dentist ones are kind of much more urgent and much more of an emergency. And if you have to go to the dentist as an emergency appointment, it can be quite expensive. So the sixth sinking fund, to kind of cover all bases, is the medical one. And again, just put a rolling number in for that, maybe, I don't know, £20–30 a month, and then once it gets to a certain point, then maybe stop putting into that until you need to use it, and then set it up again. And these 6 sinking funds in total should cover you in terms of any expense in the next 12 months that you can think of. Obviously, if you've got different family circumstances, there might be ones that you need to put in, additional ones to these 6. Obviously, if you don't have a car, you don't need a car sinking fund, for example, but you might buy a rail card every year, so you could save up for that so that you can purchase that and you'll have the money sat there. It's kind of changing it for your personal circumstances. But the idea behind sinking funds is to help you so that when the time comes, you're not relying on a credit card, you're not getting yourself into debt for something that is an expense that you can see coming. Sinking funds are the way forward in terms of just having little bits of money to set aside to help you on your financial journey. So where do you keep these sinking funds? It's a bit of a quandary. I do a mixture of both. So if you've watched my cash envelope stuffing videos before, and I'll leave a link below to those, you'll know that I have some sinking funds in my cash envelope system. So I have the Christmas one and the birthdays one. I also in there have a school holidays one and a school one. So they're additional ones in our budget to the children sinking fund as such. Because I know now, and I didn't know last year, and this is me learning from the experience, we've got one of our children who's now of school age, and so we had to buy all of his school uniform in August last year. And I'm not really prepared for that expense, I don't know why, but I now know the general kind of cost of that, so I can now save up for that for August when I know that we're going to be buying them all again, because he's outgrowing them and needs new, clean, not quite so worn things for the new school year. And they're all the ones I keep in my cash envelopes. And to be honest, so the birthday one is used quite frequently for us because we have kind of lots of individual birthdays throughout the year, and then we have a lot in December, which is not ideal timing, but there you go. The Christmas one I save a bit of, and then I transfer it to an electronic savings account just so it's not sat around. You can either do them as cash envelopes, and if you use the cash envelope system, then you can roll over any leftover cash you have at the end of the week to your sinking funds. It's a nice easy way of building them up. Or you can do this electronically, so online, so have different saving pots set up for the different things. There are certain banks like Monzo, for example, where you can set up individual pots within that and you can name them what they are, and you can see then, so in the Christmas sinking fund, I've got this much so far, I need to save this much by the end of November. It's up to you how you do that. It depends how safe you feel about having money sat at home. So the cash envelope system means you have money in your house. The online system means that you don't, but it's not quite so easy to access most of the time. So I have a combination of both. Our bigger sinking funds are all online, they're all electronic. Mainly because, so say for example the car fund, when I go to do the MOT and service, I'll pay on my card and then transfer the money over from the sinking fund to cover that cost. So it's up to you, but figure out a system that works for you. Most people would probably prefer the electronic version. It depends if you use the cash envelope system. But these sinking funds as a whole will help you to navigate your financial year and hopefully make sure that you don't get into debt for something that could be planned beforehand. And even if you can start really small by adding £10 a month into one sinking fund, then you are setting yourself up to be better prepared for that expense. Start off small, see how it goes, see where it gets you, and then you can build from there. I hope this video has been helpful. I hope you're okay, and thanks for watching as always. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you again very soon.